There's been a lot of changes with workers' compensation about whether or not the owners need to be insured and named as insured under the coverage from the workers' comp. The state recently, this year, has just made a change that's greatly affected a lot of our one-man operations or our artisan guy that has a part-time person, because if they don't sign a letter, they end up being retroactively added onto the workers' comp insurance, and all of their income and payroll now counts towards the premium, which sometimes they were not previously aware of, and that's a new change. So that's a big deal, because if they don't have a previously earlier signed document, specifically,
it's a specific document.
It has to be named of the owner's names. All individually have to be excluded. Otherwise, they are considered included on the workers' comp insurance.
They have to have 15% ownership.
Yeah, or else they are not. There's no option for them to be excluded.
Yeah.
Let's back up a little bit and talk about why the workers' comp carriers and the government have added this extra layer. A couple of years ago, what a lot of, say you're a roofer. Roofers have an incredibly high rate for workers' comp because they seem to fall off of roofs. I don't know what they're doing up on the roof. Maybe they're roofing. That's a very expensive class code. So what some roofers have done is formed basically like a business co-op, where maybe I own 33 1/3%, you own 33 1/3%, you own 33 1/3%. Now we are all the owners of our business entity. We can now be legally excluded from workers' compensation coverage, so the three of us can get up on the roof and do the work without having the protection from the workers' comp. As that got larger and larger, because of that loophole, the insurance industry said, well, no, these people are really acting more as employees, and they do have this exposure, and their upside potential in terms of ownership of the firm is not what it needs to be. So these co-op groups of ownership don't work to avoid workers' compensation coverage. So that's a new rule that started this year, requiring everybody that is an owner to sign the exclusion, removing them from coverage under workers' compensation. You know, workers' comp audits are another issue and another hot button, especially for contractors, for that specific class code.
It's very hard for them to estimate a payroll because originally whenever they try to sign up for work comp, they may have just a couple contracts, but then all of a sudden they've got 5 or 6, and so therefore you've got a larger payroll. And if you don't include that during the year, they're going to be hit with a very high audit.
I have a client that is a general contractor, and he has 3 field employees that do all various trades. And he's been with State Fund for 15 or 20 years. This year, 2017, his premium was about $21,000. He was audited, and he got hit with an additional premium, and then the end of November he was audited again, and in total he ended up paying an additional $9,000 for the year. So it went from $21,000 to $30,000.
And unfortunately that happens a lot, quite frequently, and part of that reason is because they're taking on these new contracts and they're not submitting the payrolls correctly. But you know, if you handle it throughout the year and submit the payrolls accordingly, you're not going to have it. So I always suggest that maybe you estimate it a little bit higher than what you think it is, just to make sure that you're not going to be hit with that big audit.
What I would suggest is they report it to us, you know, as their agent.
We talked about,
and at least on a quarterly basis, we should be contacting them and just saying, you know, on the phone, hey, have you added any new contracts? Do you have any new employees? Can you send me over a copy of your DE9C for your quarterly payroll? And we can then compare that against what the quoted premium was, because the audited premium is always more if you end up having to pay it at audit, as opposed to paying what is correct and accurate throughout the year. If we turn that in with the payments saying, okay, they have this much more in payroll based off the class code, this is the correct premium for this time frame, those aren't the ones they're auditing. You know, they have the payroll, and they've seen the payments come in and been adjusted as we've gone along. It's the ones that are the insureds or the companies that are a little bit either burying their heads in the sand or out of sight, out of mind, aren't thinking about it, so it's just in accounting getting paid and no one's really watching it. And that's where we can add some value. You know, we can follow up with the payroll person in your office, or we can follow up with the owner if that's the correct contact. And request that those payroll stubs and then compare that against what the premium is to make sure that we're on track. And then at renewal, we can shop it again and always look at that and monitor it for our client. That's a value-added service that we do add. Another good thing too, if they're planning to bid on larger contracts, an open bid situation, or with the city or the state or the county or what have you, they should probably give us a call, because if it's a large contract, the insurance related to that contract and the requirements is very well could be different than what they would already have in place.
Absolutely.
And doing that in advance, so that then when they submit the bid, the quality of their bid in the overall review process to have a better chance of winning it.
Right.
Anything else, you guys, that we should add?
I just wanted to say one thing about work comp, whether it be State Fund or any of the other carriers. If you have an audit that's estimated, you may be paying more money than what you really actually need to be paying. That's why it's so important that you do submit your payrolls accordingly. I've seen oftentimes that they have been slapped with audits because the companies have estimated it, and therefore the insurance automatically paying that audit when that was not necessary.
Right. If they send it to us, let us take care of it for them. Let us do the phone chasing with the carrier and make sure that, hey, this is right and this isn't. I mean, that's our expertise, and we can then communicate that to the client in an efficient way.
That helps. That's one less step for the insured to have to worry about. Let us handle it.
So if you're a contractor out there considering looking for a new agency to work with, we would ask that you consider Alta Vista Insurance to make us your new partner, if you will. Our goal is to help you grow and protect your business so that you can do what you do best by allowing us to do what we do best. We're actively looking for new client relationships to grow and expand our business, and we hope that you'll give us careful consideration in considering working with Tom and Debbie to help you with all of your contractors' needs. We look forward to working with you in the future. If you have any questions or want to discuss more, feel free to give us a call and respond. Thank you.